Just answering questions with waptek. It's called that because people make assertions, put them in the form of a question so that they can refuse to offer evidence for their assertions. Waptek is looking for a check from Bill Gates because I point out facts that you don't like concerning vaccinations. You're not required to have a vaccination. You can just refuse to do so currently and probably will forever because the majority of people in this country are so fed up with how effed up this year has been that the possibility of actually destroying a disease and getting rid of it in less than a year is becoming a rallying cry. A lot of us have lost relatives and friends, and we want to destroy the damn thing vengefully. If you don't wish to participate, I doubt that your life matters any more than my life matters to you. So, go die someplace else. Next, a lot of people are complaining on other channels about how you have to have a vaccine in order to travel with your passport. The majority of these people don't have a passport and aren't traveling and have admitted it. So they're complaining about something that doesn't affect them because they need something to complain about. And again, I haven't seen anybody actually make a rule that says that you can't use your visa, passport, whatever, and go to another country right now. Some countries are excluding you, not ours. And I'm okay with that being done because honestly, until the virus stops killing people in mass, we shouldn't be allowing any more people in. And by the way, I'd like to point out that Donald Trump limited your ability to enter the United States at one point because of this virus, regardless if you had a vaccination. Next, I made a video about various people, including Mike Yeadon, making assertions about COVID-19. Person says the point isn't his carte de visite or his resume or whatever, but what he said and corroboration of data and by other doctors. Counterpoint. Every single doctor and every other single source of data has shown that he's wrong about his assertions or not. If they have said that he is wrong and it's the majority of data, why are you bringing that up? He's making an assertion that doesn't match up with the majority and consensus of medicine. So you'll just say, well, if 5 people complain, then it can't be true or something. Then he says quarantine comes from the word for 40 days in Italian. And that's how long an epidemic lasts. But epidemics have lasted longer than 40 days in the past and still do. This one's lasted a lot longer, and that's not what the word quarantine actually refers to. It refers to the minimum period of time you can quarantine a person, as we call it, to prevent them from having unvisible symptoms or the period of time when they probably won't be able to get you sick. Depending on the disease, it's anywhere from a couple of days to more than 40 days. In this case, it works out to being 5 days or 14 days. It doesn't have to be a specific day you think of just because somebody a long time ago in Italy came up with the word quarantine. It's a month and 10 days, by the way. That's where they came up with. Pandemic comes from the ancient Greek pan, all, everybody, but not everybody is at risk from the virus. Counterpoint, everybody is actually at risk of getting the virus and transferring it. That's why it's called, well, actually, this case is called a pan-continental or pan-country or pan-regional. It just means everywhere, not everybody. You imbecile. Next, the mortality rate is not, why did you put 0,001% and 99.9% of the people survive it? It's about 3% death rate. Since you've literally quoted something that has never been true, that the death rate is that low, I'm deleting your comment because you said something that is simply a lie. The all or nothing attitude people show towards me, if I get one thing wrong, I'm applying now. You are not permitted to comment on my channel if you state something that has been disproven repeatedly. This is a debunking channel. I don't care to have your comments posted. Someone's looking for a check from Bill Gates. Okay, me pointing out that you're wrong about something and blaming it on Bill Gates because he's a symbol doesn't mean that I should listen to you either, but I let that one go through. Next, this is obviously a hit piece against a general, a former general in the U.S. military, and others by this waptek leftist hack to discredit the voter fraud hypothesis. Counterpoint. the voter fraud assertion you're making has been disproven by the people who counted the votes, who certified the votes, and are voting in a very short time, as of right now, to certify the vote and have the Electoral College pick the elected president. You're contradicted by every fucking source, but you found a person who used to be a general, who also says all sorts of crazy crap that isn't true, has never been true, and cannot be true because it's literally impossible stuff, but you choose to believe in him. It's not a hit piece against him. I'm reporting what he said. He created his own negative press. Next. Widespread voter fraud happened. These corrupt hacks are telling us not to believe it. The media and social media are all censoring voter fraud info. No. They're censoring people like you, which I will do if I have to, who keep making assertions that have been disproven. When you make an accusation and it's disproven, you should stop using that accusation. When you've accused somebody of something and they've been exonerated, you need to stop accusing them of it. At that point, it just becomes abusive. Calling me a leftist hack instead of a left-wing hacker. Shame on you. So anyway, there is no safe side. You can follow the official line on contagious pathogen if you want. It's your choice. But the consequences of the policies enforced are more damaging than we could imagine, especially for kids and vulnerable people. It's a false argument to suggest that the reason people are being censored can only be because their ideas are so dangerous. No, I'm not saying that. It's that they're not true, have been demonstrated to not be true, and they keep using assertions that are based on citing people or sources that are debunked later on and found out to be true. Constantly repeating something that isn't true, that has the effect of causing people to make a pandemic take longer to go away, for instance, is wrong. But anyway, it was about the video you posted that under, was under a video about cyber attacks from various countries. Wasn't it? Weren't we talking about technical issues with computers? I don't know. Let's go on. It's far more likely that the only thing the censors are protecting is the interests of deceitful goals of the powerful, powerful, period. It is hilarious that you state the bacteria and viruses being the root cause of diseases is an objective fact. It's missing also that there are other pathogens that can cause it, but those are the primary ones we're talking about. There are experts with evidence and equally plausible theories that they never prove, who actually make sense with more data. No, they have failed to prove their point in the cases you're talking about. There are people who make all sorts of claims but can't prove it and provide no useful effect for medicine. Meanwhile, being able to identify that everybody who has COVID-19 contains a virus that has exactly the same sequence and shape and color and pattern, that one we see on the internet so much as a model of it, but it's pretty close, is not a useless thing, and it has an effect that's useful. Some of you decided that you're going to ignore any medical science simply because reasons. Usually a hidden reason because you don't care about everybody dying or whatever. Meanwhile, the rest of us are enjoying the fact that we do have a lower death rate because we're not in the Stone Age. I'd say the answer to your rhetorical video title question is yes. But no worries, your heart's in the right place, and we do agree on one thing. Our opinions are pretty meaningless. The trouble is, our opinions are meaningless. The facts are not. And I'm going to read the title for the video. I'm not sure if you got this exactly, but let's look at it. We'll judge it by the title or its cover on the video. But again, I thought we were talking about something different here. Obviously, I'm wrong here, so we'll go to the details. Here we go. As soon as YouTube stops being crap. Are you an unpaid cyber military group involved in digital disinfo or censorship at the moment? Oh, I didn't provide any evidence or information. I'm sorry. Did I ask a rhetorical question? So your answer to that question is yes. Are you being tricked by another country into killing people in your country by spreading lies? My rhetorical question, you have answered yes. Let me read that again. Are you or anybody else an unpaid cyber military group involved in digital disinfo or censorship at the moment? Do you censor people? Do you shut them up? Do you ignore what they have to say? For whatever you wanted to talk about? Okay, now let's get on to the next one. We'll just let that one go. Here's another interesting perspective on the other issues you were discussing recently. And then he has a link to some video. I'm just going to let it go. That's cool. Off topic. Next, how does quantum dot tattoo luciferase Pfizer vaccine fit together? At negative 70 degrees, China's quantum supercomputer recently made the headlines. They also have satellites in orbit. Is there a connection? They're trying to F over the free world. I can't make connections. Can you? Here we go. Let's go down this rabbit hole. Raphael Dubois, who died in 1929, came up with an idea about calling two things luciferase and luciferin. Luciferin is a generic term for light-emitting compounds found in organisms that generate bioluminescence. And luciferase is a generic term for a class of oxidative enzymes that produce bioluminescence and is usually distinguished from photoproteins. The name was first used by Mr. Dubois, who invented the words for the substrate and enzyme, respectively. Both words are derived from the Latin word for Lucifer, light bringer. Because he's an asshole who did a loaded name and designation. Sort of like naming your valley Squaw Valley or calling the road up the street dirty, filthy white people lane or something. He's a troll. But yeah, it has nothing to do with anything, but okay. Or what about quantum dots? Well, quantum dots they're materials that react to light or some other energy by taking advantage of effects found in everything in the world around you, quantum effects. Everything, including you and me, are composed of, well, little bits of weird fiddly bits and quanta and subatomic particles and quarks and shit. Anyway, quantum dots are based on using a very tiny point of material that has a lot of characteristics about it that react based on quantum mechanics. It can be any damn thing, honestly. It's very generic. Anyway, at one point, here we go. MIT presented a new invention called quantum dot technology, or quantum tattoos, that would be placed on human skin to contain your medical records that would be useful at a hospital. Instead of that little tag they put on a little wristband that's so hard to remove with the barcode on it, or grid code, or zebra code, or smart code, they decided to do something similar, a smaller number of dots, by impressing it into your skin so it would be indelible for a while. So it would be on your skin for a while so that literally anybody who could get an angle on it could aim an infrared scanner at you, because it reacts to infrared, and get your information. That totally sounds like something you'd want to put on your forehead so they could do it at a distance, or back of your hand, or on your abdomen, which is where they talked about really using it. The assertion is that this would be a tattoo that would be injected under the skin, when in fact it's put on as a patch to get a pattern, and it's pushed under the skin by really tiny spikes that make it towards just under the skin so that it will stay there for a little while, or for longer. But they refer to that as injection because that's the word that's used in a foreign language. And the assertion is, instead of it being injected by pressing down as a pad, it'd be put in a syringe so it'd go in your bloodstream, but somehow make a pattern on your skin. So to answer your question, when you said, I can't connect these, I can't either, because they don't mean anything. Also, the word quantum dot just refers to quantum mechanics being involved. There's a diode in some radios that's based on quantum mechanics. Doesn't make a difference. So this is literally words strung together to get you to click on something on some website. I also like to point out that websites that try to debunk it keep mixing this up with the actual fake story. They don't have anything to do with each other, and quantum computers, if you want to know about it, they don't work that way at all. They just don't. It's bull crap. So you've suffered from marketing and BS storage. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with it.